Hey, it's Lauren. I am back after an unintentional hiatus of like 2.5 weeks because my entire family got sick over Halloween, and you can even still hear it now. I am still congested. I don't understand. Anyway, it's just like a basic cold and I wish it would just go away. That'd be great. This year I have gotten sick more than I think any other year for like the last 10 years. Anyway, this video is a Jones Road dedicated video. I love their products. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by prepping my lips. I'm gonna use a little bit of Miracle Balm in the shade Dusty Rose. This is so great for adding a little bit of moisture, and I just love it as a prep product. I love it on my lips in general. You can see it gives them just a little kiss of glow. They look really, really nice and juicy and hydrated. So now I'm going to use a highly controversial product in the beauty sphere, and that is the What the Foundation. I have the shade Light, and this stuff is really polarizing. People either really love it or really hate it. I recently did a blog post on it because while I've been sick, I've still wanted to do some sort of content, and the easiest thing to do is keep up with my blog. So I renovated a lot of it. But anyway, so you've got this like tinted moisture balm, and it's just like some people really love this stuff. Some people really hate this stuff. It does have a little bit of like a scent to it. I don't find myself to be bothered by it. But here's the thing. Like I said, it's extremely polarizing, and you'll fall into one of two camps usually with this, of either loving it or hating it. I love it. I really love it. I didn't know if I would. I'm so happy I've had the opportunity to try this because it ends up looking like your skin, but better. And I think, you know, one of the key things that you should know about this product is that Bobbi Brown is not a huge fan of foundations. She doesn't like how they mask the skin and make it look like it's not really a part of you. So like this, What the Foundation Moisture Balm, Tinted Moisture Balm, is designed to do is to help even out your skin and make it really nice and juicy and hydrated without masking your face. So as you can see, it cuts down on my redness and it still looks like my skin. I have somewhat combination skin, and I find that when I wear this, I don't really need like a true moisturizer underneath it. So what I end up using is like my skin serum and then my SPF. And then I put this on, and this has enough moisture that seems to just kind of sink in over top of all of that. And it makes my skin look so nice. I really did not expect to love this product because I was afraid that it really wouldn't do enough. I was afraid that it was just kind of one of those products that once you work it in, it just completely disappears. And to some degree it does, but there is enough tint in here that it cuts down on my redness. And I like to pull it up a little bit under my eyes just because it gives a little bit more slip, especially if you're gonna go back in with the face pencil, which I am. But you can see it just really helps to even out my skin tone. It doesn't look makeup-y. And I think that's why a lot of people that tried this, especially in the early days, were confused or disappointed because they were like, what is this even doing? And it really is just to kind of bring a little life to your skin, help even things out. I just think it feels so lovely. Like once you get it on, it really doesn't feel like much. And the other thing that I love so much about this is oh, I'm throwing things. It doesn't really like settle into lines and stuff. So I'm a huge fan of it. Now I'm gonna use a face pencil. This is the shade 7. When I have a little bit more color, I oftentimes wear the shade 9, but this is so foolproof. I've talked about this before on my channel. It really is an easy thing to just cover up anywhere you need a little extra coverage, because What the Foundation, again, is not like a heavy coverage. It's gonna gently even things out. So I go in with this, and I also want to show kind of how to cover for people over the age of 30. You know, over the past few years, we've seen the big trend of like big, heavy triangles, and it like, you know, is supposed to brighten up your face, but The problem with that, if you are like myself, over 30, or, you know, seeing some early onset of like your face moving more, what ends up happening is all that product is going to crinkle. And so there's even been that more recent trend of like the big, like heavy check here and then like up here. But if you get those, you know, eye wrinkles when you smile or move your face, having a bunch of product there is really not ideal. So what I have started doing when I conceal my face, I find the dark spots, the dark areas. And what I like to do for concealing my eyes, if you tilt down, you can really see the outline of where you need a bit of coverage, okay? When I come back up, it kind of, you can see. So I go a little bit below where that seam is too. Now, here's the other thing. Like I said, when you smile, you're gonna get some crinkling and things happening on the outer edges of your eyes, right? But there's also this bit of like redness and discoloration. So instead of taking this like all the way lifting out and up where it's gonna bunch out here, I don't have discoloration out here. I have it right next to my eye. So I've been putting that right here, leaving a little bit of room to blend out. And we'll do that over here too. So kind of look down, find where you've got the most discoloration, come just below that seam too, so it kind of lifts out that shadow. And then find where that little dark corner is. At least for me, I get that redness there. Voila. Don't really have a lot of other marks right now, so I don't have to worry too much. All right, now for the blending. I am using the concealer brush. Do they call this a concealer brush? I don't know. It's the Jones Road brush. It's the smaller version of the skin brush. I really, really like the brushes a lot. And this is great for spot concealing. This is great for working around tight areas like the eyes and the nose. Look at that. You can definitely build up the coverage of the face pencil, but it is not designed to completely flatten out your skin. So here's another little tip that I want to share today. I love to conceal around my nose, but I find that if I go directly into that fold, product is going to tend to collect and look kind of heavy there. So what I do is, if you noticed when I went in with the face pencil, I kind of drew on that like nasolabial fold right here. And I kind of go in next to where that shadowing is without really pushing the product into that crease. And I find that by doing that, I get that lift and coverage of the discoloration without having a bunch of product settle into that line. And especially, you'll notice right here, especially when you're like kind of sick and have a cold like I do right now, kind of pulling that color and coverage around your nose can really help to make you look a little more put together when you feel not so hot. Okay, so this is the other area that I really pay attention to, because I find this adding a little bit of coverage to this inner eye circle really makes my eyes look a lot more bright and awake. I think a lot of times people, when they conceal, they just go down below, but when you focus on this area too, I think it can really have a positive impact on getting that brightness around your eye. So you'll see, I'm just kind of tapping this brush. I don't really have to do too much to blend in the face pencils. That's kind of the beauty of them. They're incredibly easy to use, and the consistency of them makes them kind of mesh with your skin nicely, which is also great. So again, just kind of pressing this product in and creating a little bit of lift here without a giant swipe of product, okay? You can even go back in with your fingers. The warmth from your fingers is excellent with products like the face pencil. But yeah, just find that shadow, find where that seam is between the two, and kind of lift out the discoloration. I've been doing this now for, I don't know, the past close to 2 weeks. And I really have noticed it makes me look so much more awake and put together by just really using a tiny amount of product in the right places rather than enormous swaths of product all over. This just has worn so well on my skin. For cheek color, I'm going to use the Lip and Cheek Stick in the shade English Rose. I really love this. This is also recently in the Bobby kit that went out, but I already had one, which is why this one looks a little well-loved. But this product is super easy to use. It's really nice and creamy. You'll notice I'm just using my fingers. And I like to go in with most of my cream products before I apply any type of powder. That rings true, even with my Jones Road. But look how easy that blended out. It's so beautiful and fresh. I love this color. I love these sticks. The texture is really creamy. So you'll notice too that because of the texture, you don't really need like a true highlight. You get enough of that reflection and sheen from the product itself. I've kind of found lately that I haven't really been grabbing like a true highlighter, especially if I'm using a cream product, because I just don't need it. We like simple, okay? We like simple. Jones Road does not have like a true setting powder, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of my Coty Airspun. I do, like I said, have combination skin, so setting a little bit through my T-zone can really extend the life of my makeup for the day. Do a little bit right through here. I like to press. You'll notice I am kind of dabbing and pressing the product in rather than wiping. The reason for that is if you go in and you start like heavily swiping on your powder, you can end up shifting product underneath. And that is not what I want. I want to keep my coverage where I put it. I'm gonna close my eye for just a second. I like to do this too because it helps to start absorbing oils. And my eyelids, for some reason, have always tended to get a little oily. All right, now I'm going to use some of the bronzer. I absolutely love this bronzer. I cannot get over it. Hang on, I need a brush. I absolutely love the Jones Road bronzer, and I cannot wait for it to be available outside of the Bobby Kit 2.0 for you all. This bronzer, there are two shades. I have the lighter of the two because I am pale, quite pale. I love this stuff. Like, I love it. I have a few bronzers, you know, and they're all nice, but there's something just so great about the undertone of this particular bronzer. There's like, it almost has like a hint of a reddish undertone without being orangey, and something about it just comes across, it reads as a very natural like bronzing tan color. Like, it looks like the kind of color you get after spending a day out at the beach, and I just absolutely adore it. Okay, there's a hair, come off. Okay. But look at that, like I look like I've been in the sun. I'm gonna carry a little bit of that color down because I feel a little disjointed with how pale I am right now. Need a little more, a little help. Okay. Sometimes too, if I get a little extra bronzy, I like to take my powder brush and just kind of lightly dust over just to kind of soften it out a bit. All right, moving on to eyes, I'm gonna use some of their powder eyeshadows. I love their powder eyeshadows because I find them to be oil absorbing, and that helps to extend the longevity of my look. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with the shade Cream, and I'm going to take the eye fluffy brush, which is this kind of rounded dome, but it's also flat. And I'm going to coat my brush well, shake it off a little bit. And I'm gonna put this in the inner portion of my eye, start there, because it really, again, helps to brighten up that inner corner, and it makes my eyes look so much more awake. Gently drag it across, and bring a little bit up through here, right under the brow. And because of the shape of this brush, you can really kind of just drag it and it will softly blend it out. Shake it off a little bit. I also like that these are not overly dusty eyeshadows, so you don't have to worry too much about like blowing off or tapping the brush excessively. There's not a ton of kickback. Okay, a little blend there. Just look how much brighter I am around my eyes. Helps to cancel my discoloration. Now I'm going to take this shade, where are you? Ash. Ash is such a lovely, like neutrally taupe kind of color. I'm going to take the blending brush, which is much more round all the way around. Nice dome. Dip that in here. And we're just going to use this as like a light kind of contouring shade. Little extra definition without being like a dramatic shift. It's a great transition shade. That's the word I'm looking for. I love using a blending brush for this type of shadow because it just makes it look very soft. You don't have to work super hard at like blending it out. Between the shade being soft itself and then the brush, you're gonna get a really easy definition without having to work at it, okay? Now, going to take the shade Smoky Gray, and this is where some of the magic is gonna happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take this smaller, which one is this? Eye detail brush, smaller. And I'm going to get some of this on here. Now what I'm gonna do, instead of creating like a heavy V, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift like so. I'm going to take just whatever is left on the brush and softly use it to blend. My finger to soften that out a bit. But it just creates a very natural lift. So we've opened up and brightened around the eye. We've brightened that little corner that tends to have some discoloration and look a little tired. And then we create a little extra lift with a slightly deeper shadow. The whole goal here is to look a bit more awake and like I'm not at the tail end of a cold. I love these shadows though. I love these specific colors together. I find them very easy to work with and play with. Very simple eye look, nothing crazy. I'm gonna use the blending brush just for a second on the top edge of that little corner that we created, just to soften it out a bit without, again, creating that like heavy V, really just focusing on lifting and brightening. So the next thing I'm going to use is the brow pencil. This is the shade Light Brunette. I still wish that they would make an auburn shade, just throwing that out there. But now that I've gone a little deeper with my kind of copper, I find that this shade works fine. So I love this formula because it does have little fibers in it. So you don't have to use like a pomade or something to thicken it and fill in on those hairs. This does it for you. So you'll notice too, I'm kind of going in on the top here, like so. Finding those holes. I like to tilt back too because I can see where I have a little gap there. This product is fabulous though. Then I'm gonna also take the brow brush, comb through, and this is really where the magic happens because you can kind of fluff through all of those fibers that you have just laid down, and now you've got a really nice defined brow that still looks very natural. I think this might be my favorite and easiest brow product to use because it kind of has this pomade-y texture that holds your brows in place. It's got the fibers that expand and look very natural like hair, and the actual pigment stays all day. So, and I feel like a lot of times like pencils can kind of pull and tug on the hair, but there is a softness to this that I don't feel like it's tugging on those hairs as I lay it down. It's soft enough that it just kind of deposits the color. Okay, little brow action. I'm gonna do a little boop, boop, kind of straight up there. Find that balance pretty close, pretty close. Now, I'm going to use the best pencil in the shade Brown. We are getting quite small here. I love this pencil so much. It's like such a gorgeous, it's a brown, and there is a very subtle shimmer to this formula. I love it. I love this color. I love this pencil. It wears beautifully all day. So I'm going to take this and kind of following that shape of the darker eyeshadow that I applied, I'm going to just slightly kind of feather slightly up, not super far. And then I'm just going to connect and go right along my lashes here. And then I'm going to use my nail and lift. Nothing crazy, nothing difficult about doing this at all. Busy street. I hate it. Here's a fun fact about me. I'm fairly certain, if ever given the opportunity, if I could live like out in the forest in a little A-frame, I would take it, like in a heartbeat. I am so tired of living off of busy streets. Every city we have lived in, we have lived like really close to downtowns or like close to the hospital systems, which are also typically near downtown. And it's always noisy. It is always noisy and loud. And all I want, all my little Cancerian hermit self wants, is to be in a little like shed in the woods. I don't want all the noise. Make it go away. Okay. Yes. Yes, give me that lift. Make me look alive. I'm gonna try to get this off of my hand just because I know either I will smudge it on something or I will have it on my hand all day and people are gonna be like, what is on you? Okay, now I'm gonna use the mascara. I love this mascara. I have raved about this since my first Jones Road video ever. I was shocked. I was not expecting this mascara to be as good as it is. So this particular mascara has an enormous wand. It is very bushy and very curved. But what I like so much about this is I don't need a lash curler with this. I find a lot of times with more traditional teddy bear bushy wands that they don't give me as much lift as like a silicone wand. However, this mascara, for some reason, and I think it's because of the curvature of the brush, just naturally lifts my lashes and makes them look so beautiful literally every time I wear it. So I'm not even re-dipping because this brush, like I said, it is enormous. It holds a ton of product. You don't really need to, especially if it's still a somewhat new tube, which this one is. I pretty much always have a backup of this stuff, and it's also worth noting this stuff does tend to sell out. So if you find yourself like me, where you like it, it might be worth buying 2 tubes at a time. Just saying. Now I will re-dip because I'm going to do a second coat. I'm debating, I don't want to put anything on my lower lashes today. I really want my eyes to look bright and open and awake, and I don't really want to enhance any shadows that I've got going on. So I'm gonna skip lower lash mascara today. A lot of times I will wear mascara on my bottom lashes, but for a really nice wide open eye look, sometimes it's good to skip it. Look at those lashes. They're like so smoky and thick and fluffy. I love this mascara. If you're wondering about my eyelashes and why they look so enormous and long, I do use a lash serum. I did a very, very in-depth blog post the other day. If you're unfamiliar with my blog is boldlylauren.com. Very easy to find. But I really just kind of detailed my experience using lash serums. I've been using them mostly on, but on and off for the last like 10 years. And I've tried a lot of different formulas, and there is one now that I really love. So if you're interested in that, go check out that blog post. Now I did make a few little mascara bumps. Nothing too bad this time. I'm gonna just dust that off though Most of these are dry now. Just find them and use a spoolie and flake them off. All right, final touches here. I'm gonna just slightly wipe off my Miracle Balm. And now this is a lip tint. This and the What the Foundation are both newer products to me. I got the shade Pretty, which is this beautiful kind of warm pink. It's almost like a warm hot pink. They have another shade called Raspberry, so I don't want to describe this as a raspberry shade. It is called Pretty, and it is very pretty. What I think is interesting, tie this in a little, add a little extra zing here. I love that Jones Road products really all kind of play well together. What I find interesting is that these lip tints feel a bit thinner in comparison to the lip and cheek sticks. So let me just show you like a swatch on my hand so you can get an idea. The lip and cheek sticks almost feel a bit thicker to me than the lip tint. The lip tint really is more for that color. You're going to have some moisture in there too, but they don't seem to stay as cushiony feeling on my lips. They're much more slick in comparison. Okay, they feel just a bit thinner. They don't grab quite the same, but they have more pigment. So here's the lip and cheek. You can see how it kind of grabs on my skin. The lip tint, it's just a thinner feeling formula with a bit more slip and shine, but more pigment. So hopefully that helps you if you're kind of trying to decide between the two and if you need both. I think they're both lovely, but I do find them to feel a bit different on my lips. All right, so now that I've got that on, make sure I don't get any on my teeth, I am going to use just a pinch of the Dusty Rose Miracle Balm on top of this. And the reason being is that I like a little bit more of a cushiony feel on my lips, and I find that the lip tint is not as thick, but I do love this color and the pigment. But I'm going to use a little bit of the Dusty Rose over top, and it gives it a little bit more of that cushiony feel that I personally really love. And it adds this like pretty little sheen. I love this. This is my full face of Jones Road Beauty, and I hope that you've enjoyed this because I have enjoyed using Jones Road products since they first launched. I think that what I love so much about this line is that it really is sort of foolproof. It is easy to use. It is for every person. I mean, whether you are a beginner or you just really love makeup or you're looking for ways to simplify your routine, but still look like the best, most put together version of yourself. That is what I love about Jones Road Beauty. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. That helps other people to find my channel in this video. And if you want to see more reviews, tutorials, things like that, please make sure you subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.